stories only God could write, true testimonies of faith, miracles, revelations, life-changing encounters, the missionary, and the power of God in action. Get ready to be moved, to be inspired, and to renew your hope and your faith.
Have you ever felt a deep, chronic ache? The kind that drains the color out of your world, day after crushing day? That's where we find Clara Reyes, a sweet, retired history teacher from Charleston, South Carolina. She was 68 years old, and honestly, the diabetes was winning. It wasn't just a health problem, it was a thief that had stolen her retirement, her joy, and even her peace. Clara and her devoted husband, Robert, had gone downtown to the historic Charleston City Market, hoping a change of scenery would help. But the heat was thick, the cobblestones were unforgiving, and the pain in her feet, the dreaded diabetic neuropathy, was a searing, burning agony. As she slumped onto a weathered wooden bench, Clara pulled out her glucose meter. Robert watched, his face a mask of worry he'd worn for 5 years straight. The number that flashed was a gut punch, 288. She was exhausted, defeated, and the simple effort of walking had pushed her to her limit. She whispered, "Robert, I can't do this anymore. I think I need to go home." But home was miles away, and the thought of the burning drive back brought tears to her eyes. That's when Evelyn, her former student and now a dedicated home healthcare nurse, rushed over. Evelyn was sharp, efficient, and deeply loved Clara, but she was a skeptic through and through. "Clara, you know the drill. Too high. We need to cool you down and get some insulin in you. This isn't just pain, it's dangerous." Evelyn was already setting up her kit, focused only on the numbers. And then she appeared. Out of the bustle of tourists and craft vendors, a woman approached the bench. She was striking, in her 30s with dark, intense eyes, wearing a simple, vibrant red tunic, and her head was covered by a delicate, white lace veil. She walked with an air of complete certainty, like she knew exactly where she was going. Evelyn tried to wave her off impatiently. "Ma'am, we need space here. This is a medical situation." The woman, Sister Ana, didn't even look at Evelyn. Her eyes were locked on Clara's tired, tear-stained face. She didn't ask questions. She didn't preach. She just knelt beside the bench, oblivious to the busy, crowded market square. Her voice was low but carried absolute power. "Clara Reyes," she said, using Clara's full name, which she couldn't possibly have known. "The Father has seen your suffering. Your long wait is over." Before anyone could react, before Robert could stand up or Evelyn could grab her arm, Sister Ana reached out. She placed her hand, warm and firm, directly on Clara's lower abdomen, over the source of the chronic pain and disease. Sister Ana closed her eyes, and her prayer wasn't a request. It was a simple, profound declaration. "In the name of Jesus Christ, I command this sickness to leave. Be whole now." Then it happened. A shock, intense and hot, surged from the missionary's palm directly into Clara. Clara gasped, not in pain, but in sheer electric astonishment. The burning in her feet, the dull, deep throb in her organs, it was instantly gone. Completely. The last thing Clara remembered before the world went blurry was the deep, calm certainty in Sister Ana's eyes. When she blinked, the missionary was already standing, turning away, melting back into the crowd of the Charleston City Market as quickly and mysteriously as she had arrived. Clara was left gripping the bench, breathing heavily, and waiting for the pain to return. But the pain didn't return. Only a strange, unbelievable stillness remained. The immediate aftermath was chaotic. Robert and Evelyn were shouting. "What did she do? Are you all right, Clara? Did she hurt you?" Clara just shook her head, confusion warring with an unbelievable sense of lightness. The numbness was gone and so was the agony. Her feet, which had felt like they were resting on hot coals moments before, now felt normal. She carefully placed one foot on the cobblestone, then the other. She stood up, a movement usually met with a wince, and felt nothing but solid ground. I don't feel it," she whispered. Evelyn, the consummate professional, immediately dismissed it. "It's adrenaline, Clara. The shock of that woman. We still need to check your sugar and get you stable." But Clara couldn't be stopped. She took one step, then two. She walked 20 feet down the market aisle and back, her eyes wide, tears of disbelief streaming down her face. The drive home to her quiet house in Midtown Charleston was silent. Robert kept glancing over, seeing a woman who looked 10 years younger, but was terrified to trust the silence where the pain used to be. The next few days were a strange mixture of exhilarating freedom and paralyzing fear. Clara started doing things she hadn't dared to do in years. She walked barefoot on her porch, feeling the cool wood beneath her soles. Something impossible with severe neuropathy. She stayed up late reading. And then the ultimate test. They were at a small neighborhood barbecue. Robert was watching her plate like a hawk, ready to intercept any carb that dared come close. Clara looked at a single beautiful piece of chocolate cake. It wasn't a medical choice. It was an act of rebellion, a test of faith. She took the smallest bite. She waited for the crash, the dizziness, the inevitable glucose spike that usually followed even a dietary mistake. Nothing. She took another, larger bite. It was delicious, and nothing happened. This new freedom brought a flood of powerful memories. Clara remembered the day the doctor first gave her the type 2 diagnosis. The moment the reality of lifelong needles and restrictions had crashed down on her. She remembered watching Robert secretly cry one night, terrified of becoming her full-time caretaker. This current peace, the ability to live again, felt too fragile, too big to be real. Over the next 2 weeks, the change was undeniable. Clara was in the garden, planting roses, singing softly, a sound Robert hadn't heard in years. She was vibrant, but the scientific side of the medical reality still hung over them. As Robert said one evening, "Clara, I believe you. I see you. But the heart of the matter isn't the daily sugar tests. It's the A1C. That blood test measures the last 3 months. If it's high, this relief is temporary." Robert insisted on definitive proof. He called the endocrinologist's office, Dr. Sharma, an expert who knew Clara's hopeless case better than anyone. They secured a blood draw for the 3-month Hemoglobin A1C test the next morning at the clinic in Mount Pleasant. As Clara and Robert sat in the sterile waiting room, the weight of the past 5 years, the sudden miracle, and the hope of a brand new future all rested on that one number. The ultimate truth was about to be revealed. The air in the examination room was thick with tension. Clara, Robert, and Nurse Evelyn stood waiting for Dr. Sharma, the endocrinologist. Evelyn was there officially for support, but secretly, she wanted to see the numbers that would explain Clara's temporary remission. She was ready to provide the scientific explanation. Dr. Sharma walked in, looking serious, holding a clipboard with the newly processed lab report. He was a professional, trained to handle every possible outcome, but as he read the result, he stopped mid-sentence. He looked up at Clara, then down at the paper, then back up again. His mouth hung slightly open in utter disbelief. "Mrs. Reyes," Dr. Sharma began, his voice losing its medical composure. "I don't know how to explain this." He slid the paper across the desk. Robert snatched it up, scanning the page frantically for the 3 words that defined Clara's fate. Hemoglobin A1C. Next to it, in bold numbers, was the final undeniable truth. 5.5% at a normal, non-diabetic A1C reading. After 5 years of struggling in the high 8s and 9s, the number was perfect. The room exploded. Evelyn gasped, dropping her own clipboard, tears immediately flooding her eyes. "Dr. Sharma, that's impossible. Look at her history." Dr. Sharma leaned back, shaking his head. "Evelyn, this lab is the best in the state. The numbers don't lie. Her body chemistry is completely reformed. There is no trace of high glucose damage. This is a full, complete, and permanent restoration." Robert collapsed into a chair, not with exhaustion, but with overwhelming, gut-wrenching relief. He buried his face in his hands, silently sobbing years of worry away. Clara, however, didn't cry. She smiled a quiet, knowing smile, the same certainty she had seen in the eyes of Sister Ana. She reached out and pulled Robert into a tight embrace. In that moment, she realized the miracle was not just the physical healing. It was the restoration of her life, of her marriage, and of her deep-seated belief that God still intervened. As they left the clinic, arm in arm, Clara was lighter than air. They had a new future. No more needles, no more constant fear, just the freedom to enjoy their golden years together. She and Robert vowed to share their impossible story. They would search for Sister Ana, the mysterious missionary in the red tunic and lace veil, to thank her for being the vessel of such a powerful, life-altering moment. The experience taught them the deepest lesson of all. Some moments can't be explained by science. They can only be explained by faith. That if this incredible story of healing and hope moved you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next time a miracle happens right before our eyes.